Hey everyone! My name is Jennifer Fenwick, and I will be your presenter at this last stop on the data trail, changing the landscape of camping in the Crested Butte area. Our previous presenters went over how to design, collect, and analyze data. I'm going into how to implement the data. Before we jump into my project, I want everyone to take a very brief Zoom break by closing your eyes. Take 10 seconds to think of a time you went camping. Who were you with? How did you get there? And what were your sleeping arrangements? Go. All right, wake up and come back to Zoom. What came to your mind was most likely different from what came to your virtual neighbor's mind. If you were to search #camping on Instagram, you get images like these. The cultural view of camping can involve tents, camper vans, RVs, glamping, backpacking, and even cabins. The ways to camp have diversified, and with that comes an opportunity for more and more people to recreate. In the summertime, Crested Butte is embedded with campers. Some stay in campgrounds, but a large chunk of those visitors camp near the road on Forest Service land. There are no fees nor developed facilities such as picnic tables, fire rings, or trash services. This kind of camping is known as dispersed camping. In 2015, the Gunnison Ranger District inventoried all the dispersed sites in the Crested Butte area. The data collected revealed a variety of impacts, such as user-created roads and trails, human waste disposal issues, permanent loss of vegetation, soil erosion, riparian and wildlife habitat impacts, and campers who stay all summer disregarding the 14-day limit. The issues surrounding camping in the valley had been brewing for years, and the inventory gave some quantitative evidence to do something about it. And in case you are wondering about the top right photo, yes, that's poop, the human kind. There were previous attempts to lessen the impacts that campers were having in the area. The Gunnison Ranger District did the following. In a 2010 travel management rule, they selected 12 popular corridors to receive a change to an off-road vehicle rule. Previously, you could drive 300 feet on either side of the road for the purpose of camping, but the new rule limited the spread to 30 feet. Then the Forest Service attempted to indirectly manage camping by guiding users to appropriate areas with designated road spurs. There was the formation of the Crested Butte Conservation Corps, who worked tirelessly on educating visitors, cleaning up their messes, as you saw in the previous slide, and creating physical barriers to prevent users from elongating these road spurs. There were also routine weekend patrols to speak with recreationalists on the ground, regular cleanups with local groups, installation of 5 toilets in high-use areas, and in the Gothic area, dispersed campers were interfering with the research from Rocky Mountain Biological Laboratory, so dispersed camping is now illegal in that area from June 15th through August 15th. Ultimately, these attempts were unsuccessful in changing recreational behaviors. The Forest Service needed to do something else. But it wasn't just the Forest Service who wanted to address these problems. It was the Gunnison community. The Sustainable Tourism and Outdoor Recreation Committee, also known as STORE, which includes land management agencies, county officials, nonprofits, and private sector partners, saw an alternative management strategy to traditional dispersed camping. They endorsed a project to designate camping in the Crested Butte area. They did this vocally and financially with promising $150,000 over the next 3 years. This is when I came into the picture. There were steps I had to take each season to go from the red highlighted photo you see on the left to ensure that we can get to the one on the right. These are images of a popular area of the Slate River drainage known as Musicians Camp. The red represents vegetation damage, and the black lines are motorized routes. By designating sites, we can lessen the vegetation impacts. Let me take you through some of my work, which encompasses around 100,000 acres. Over the summer of 2019, I went into each drainage with Recreation Officer Aaron Drindle, where we discussed which sites should be designated. In this photo, you can see 3 sites down Spur Road SR, that stands for Slate River, 1. Then I returned to every site and marked different elements with my GPS device, and marked the ground with flags for photos. I later went back on my computer to make them more obvious. Yellow are picnic tables, red fire rings, blue campsite posts, and the black are boulders to prevent vehicles from driving further than needed so that the vegetation can be restored. These photos will visually guide the trail crew on where to install these campsite elements. As an aside, the picnic tables are not in the current budget, but the fire rings, site posts, and barrier work are. Last fall, I took an advanced GIS course to learn how to make maps. During that semester, I began to organize my data and make any necessary data corrections. During the spring semester, I began to design maps. Pictured here is an area map that contains all the designated camping zones in Crested Butte. 1 is Kebler Pass, 2 is Slate River, 3 Washington Gulch, 4 Gothic, 5 Brush Creek, and 6 is Cement Creek. In total, there are around 188 sites. Some can be accessed by gravel roads and others through high clearance roads. If a camper were to drive into Zone 2, they would come upon a kiosk with the Slate River map. The map shows the location of all designated sites within that area. Group sites 4 through 18 are at Musicians Camp, which we saw earlier with the red highlighted image. This map includes what kind of camping, trailer in blue, RV in gray, tent in green, is appropriate for each site. In order to guide users on the new camping regulations, I developed a large sign order of campsite and footpath posts, as well as directional, regulatory, and kiosk signs. Additionally, I learned how to use Adobe Illustrator to design a kiosk template that will be displayed at the entrance to each camping zone. The visual messaging will inform users on the new camping regulations. Campers must camp at a designated spot, which is marked by a site post. They must keep fires in the fire rings and pack out all of their trash. And with the recent study that found increased levels of E. coli in our water systems, there's information about the preferred order of human waste disposal. Fortunately, I will continue my work with the Forest Service through the summer. My tasks include managing the Crested Butte Conservation Corps on the project, ordering fire rings and site posts, finalizing the sign order and kiosk design, and finishing the maps in the other zones. As I approach the conclusion, I want to offer a few words on the trajectory of this work. First, there's more work to do. I was a part of the initial phase of this project, and as I just described, I will continue working into the summer with the Crested Butte Conservation Corps, of which Nick Katmer is the operations manager. He is also a MEM student who will be carrying on the project into the next phase by developing an adaptive management plan. In doing so, he will be tackling the dilemmas associated with human waste issues, continued route proliferation, lack of campsites, and other social and environmental issues related to camping. Additionally, MEM student Lizzie Bauer is working with the Forest Service and the Store Committee to explore a fee system for camping in the Crested Butte area. With the amenities laid out in Phase 1, firing, site posts, kiosk, and bathrooms, a fee system could provide funding for maintenance of these visitor services. Second, this project is a case study that gives insight into how communities collaborate with federal land agencies to implement and impact sustainable recreation. It has proven to be effective and efficient cross-boundary work that has the potential to be modeled across the country. Lastly, my work, along with the partnerships that have formed and the monitoring and fee systems that follow, has the potential to subsequently serve as a blueprint utilized by other national forests. You might have inferred this from my panel's presentation, but we truly think data is forever. It is a cycle. Though I am a part of implementing the data, dispersed camping will need to be monitored. The data that comes from these monitoring efforts will truly inform whether designated camping is an effective form of management for the Forest Service. I would like to give a big shout out to the Gunnison Ranger District, especially my community sponsor, Aaron Drendel. Thank you to Melanie Armstrong, who introduced me to the project and gave me guidance along the way, to Dr. Crossley, who taught me how to use GIS software, Lizzie Bauer and Nick Katmer, who will continue the following phases of the project. Thank you to the Store Committee for supporting this project, to the Crested Butte Conservation Corps for the work you've done and the work that you'll be doing this summer, and to all members of the public who commented on the draft record of decision. Thank you all for listening. I hope Zoom fatigue didn't get the best of you. I would love to answer any questions you have.